Hey everybody, how is it going? We are live. We are ready to start the Q&A. I'm excited about that. My favorite thing is when you guys lead a lot of the discussion and when you guys hop on here to have conversations with me. So it's one of my favorite things. I'm looking forward to it. Just gonna let everybody get logged in here on a Catterday. I want to hear how your Saturday is going. Is it Saturday? I don't know. We're all in like this COVID Groundhog Day thing, right? So tell me where you're from. Tell me what you're doing today. Tell me if you went to the vet today. Show your questions down there in the comments. That's my favorite thing. That's what today is about. Don't make me do all the talking. We call it a Q&A for a reason. You guys have questions, and that's the point of us, of Basepaws. We are here to make sure that we're giving you the information that you're looking for, because we know the very best cat owners out there. And we want to make sure if you need to go to the vet, or if you have to see the vet, or if it's just kind of a specific question you have, we're taking care of it. So why are we talking about this today? Hi, Haley. You're counting you're like, it's Saturday, girlfriend. I am just hanging out, chilling. That's my favorite. It is actually national. Is it national or international? At least here we know it's national. Take your cat to the vet day. And maybe not necessarily inundate your vet by going today, but today is the day to think about it. Today is the day to educate about it. Today is the day to make sure your kitty, cats, and feline friends are all up to date on their veterinary visits. We can talk about finding a vet. We can talk about how going to the vet is important and how we can make it the best possible scenario. We can talk about how the cat vets can come to you. We can talk about whatever it is you guys have on your minds. I want to hear it, because that's what this is about. I have my most vet techiest face on. I'm trying to not be on a soapbox, but I will say this. There are more cats, pet cats, in North America than dogs today. So we have more pet cats in the world than there are dogs. And unfortunately, even though there are more pet cats, they get to the vet a whole lot less. And there's varied statistics from anywhere from 40 to 60% of pet cats are getting to the vet. That is not enough. Casey said they booked their annual yesterday. That's what's up. Tell me if you have insurance. I'm always excited about knowing that. When I talk to my cat parents, guardians that have insurance, I know that they're actually more likely to go to the vet and to be seen. You see Boo Kitty, the very private. Ooh, hey, you're gonna be on the live today? You're not feeling too shy? I'm actually in their room today, so she's starting to make sure that I'm gonna be done with this by dinner time. So yeah, Haley, let's start with your question. Honestly, you're interested in the vet coming to you, and you see it more and more, but it means of giving up the vet that you love and adore because they don't believe in doing home visits. So they don't believe in home visits. They don't offer this service. Tell me a little bit more about that. I know Boo Kitty is in high demand, but fiercely private. I guess this is it. There are a lot of fish in the sea, and I'm glad you love your vet. And there are always going to be things your home vet can't do. Okay, they're not going to be able to do dentals. They're not going to be able to do radiographs. They're not going to be able to do a lot of the services that you're going to have done at your regular veterinarian. They can, however, do kind of some of those in between things. I highly recommend exams every 6 months, and we are lucky if we get cats in annually, but every 6 months is beautiful. And so what I love is if you have a relationship with both, and these guys can work together. And just make sure that you're going to the vet and you're having good experiences. But vaccines and lab work can be updated in the home. So again, you're going to want to have a relationship with both either way. And so you might just have both. You can also a lot of times find veterinarians who do kind of more holistic and alternative care that'll come into the house and offer those services. And then you're really kind of standard medical care in your standard veterinary practice. So Haley, those are some things you guys can do. Looks like a lot of you guys have insurance, and that is just awesome. Kristen's like gold standard pet mom out there. And she's always at the vet because not always at the vet, sorry, Kristen, but she does not hesitate to go to the vet because she has this insurance and she knows that the vet bill is not going to be as big of a problem. And so that's one of the reasons I really recommend it. Another reason I recommend it is, I was just talking to somebody yesterday who was like, I'm talking one of the most top-notch Becky, one of the top-notch pet owners I have ever talked to as a technician. This fellow was able to tell me exactly how many ounces of water his cats should get a day and exactly how much they were being given through their canned food and how much he was supplementing with the water offerings and like just so intensely into cat health, right? And was telling me his previous cat he lost to cancer. And he was super frustrated about it because he said, we did everything to keep this cat healthy. We regularly went to the vet. And the thing is that diseases move really quickly. So the number one reason you need to be getting checked out and having your cat at the vet, honestly, in my opinion, every 6 months is because diseases move fast. If you have young, healthy, happy cats, you can probably go annually. As your cats move into seniors, you want them checked out every 6 months. We want to make sure they're healthy. And anything that pops up, we're going to be way better off by getting in front of it way earlier than later. So that's going to include the annual blood work, the annual fecal exams, the urinalysis. There's so much detail in there. So we want to make sure that you are absolutely getting there, talking to your vet about the right intervals and getting those checkups. So Nadia, great question. Taking pets all together or separate, it's oftentimes veterinarians offer discounts if you bring all your pets at one time. But for cats, this can be pretty stressful. Now, if everybody's pretty well adjusted to their crates and you have separate crates for everybody, maybe not a bad idea, and it's absolutely a possibility. But that is, are you going to be able to focus with your veterinarian on each pet while they're taking care of them? So sometimes I find owners can come into a room and have several pets, and then they're kind of a little distracted and all over the place, and we maybe don't get the opportunity to really focus in. Another great question that you had as part of that was, I should be popping these up for you guys. I know better. I'm getting all into my questions. I've been interviewing lately, and then I get to listen, and this time I get to do all the blabbing. So monitoring things at home. Again, what we really talk about with cats is the fact that they hide if they don't feel good. They don't manifest diseases and illnesses and pain the way dogs will in a lot of cases. So they'll either hide it or they'll be like constant all over you, like in your face, and you're like, what? This is so much more. You don't usually need this much attention. That's a lot of times a cat trying to tell you they don't feel good or they're not feeling right. But outside of that, a lot of times we'll have no idea our cat is not feeling well until it's way too late. So we want to make sure we are familiar with what is normal for our cats. And I think that's a really important thing because a lot of times we focus on, well, every other cat I've ever had or my other cat, or, well, books or Google says my cat should do A, B, and C. I always say what's normal for your cat. So if there's a major change or something happens really acutely, then we absolutely want to make sure we're addressing that anytime it happens, okay? So it's really, really important. The other reason we want to make sure our cats are getting to the vet, so let's kind of summarize, right? Because they don't necessarily show that they don't feel good not the right way, but as a way that you're going to recognize or see. Because diseases manifest quickly and they progress quickly. And so getting in front of the veterinarian and having those conversations with your vet, depending on the life stage of your cat, is essential to getting in front of diseases and making sure we get better outcomes because we get the chance to get in front of them. And honestly, building that relationship with your veterinarian, your veterinary team. Couple other things. We know that life stages are time changes for our cats. And a lot of times when we have vaccines, so now a lot of times vaccines are being recommended every 3 years. If we're not breaking these up into yearly intervals and getting into our veterinary clinics, our cat can also have changes in body condition. That can be an indication of disease, or that can be leading our pets into that more obesity stage. So having nutrition assessed as the 5th vital assessment at every veterinary visit is very important, and it should be happening on at least an annual basis. Weighing those kitties at least on an annual basis, making sure that we're keeping them under control. We know that cats are prone to diabetes, osteoarthritis, many of the same diseases that humans can be. It works very similarly when they're obese, so we want to get in front of that. So you guys have great questions. I want to see some more coming from you. I also wanted to think about this is, can you shout out your veterinary clinic? Whose cat loves to go to the clinic? Whose cat loves their veterinary technician? Take a second in the comments, if you would, to just shout out your veterinary teams. You know, they have been essential all through COVID. They're working so hard. And now not only do they have to know medicine, but they've also had to learn the make and models of cars. And I'll tell you guys what, that is not our expertise. We don't know cars. And we're out there like the front scene of The Lion King with Simba trying to find pet owners. So what can we do to make these vet visits better? Because most of the time we know cats aren't getting to the vet because there is a largely anthropomorphic, but largely absolutely accurate feeling of my cat hates the vet. And it's not the person, but the whole experience. So my cat hates going to the vet, or we have a bad experience going to the veterinarian and we just don't want to go anymore. Even my own mom, who may or may not be watching, said to me, I will never take my cat back to the vet. She was screaming. I was humiliated. I can't believe she acted like that. So it becomes this emotional situation, this human-animal bond situation where we say, my cat hates it, I'm not going to make them do it. And it becomes a fight right from the minute, right? So we can make these visits easier a couple different ways. And it starts at home. It starts so far before your veterinary visit ever even happens. So the biggest mistake we tend to make with cats is to keep the carriers somewhere else. In the garage, in the shed, somewhere that they do not smell like the house, they do not smell like the cat, and you guys know cats are so scent driven. So by creating a normal scent space inside our carriers, our cats are like, okay, I can at least live through this. I have a scent that's familiar. This is my space. So giving treats, giving food, normalizing the carrier itself, big, huge benefit. The other thing is feel away. I mean, I say it all the time, calming treats and feel away, pheromone sprays, so good, so important. Talk to your veterinarian about CBD. It's, different in different states, different what's allowed. Even if you have a really high stress cat, and I mean, I'm talking like those high stress kitties that are just like super resistant. And I talked to somebody the other day and they said, oh, they know when my cat's coming in because they have to gas them down. And I just wanted to throw up. You guys, we are not gassing cats down in the clinics anymore. And if you have veterinarians that are doing that, they need to be trained and updated on the new methods of low stress and cooperative care. We can give these cats relaxers, sedatives way before they're ever at the vet. There's a really, really cool methodology out there called the chill method that has been well studied, and we can have calm visits before we get there, sedated visits when we get there. We are not wrestling anymore, okay? So keeping those carriers in the house, creating some scent, some pheromones, a relaxing experience from the beginning is going to set it off in a good way. Because so often before we even get to the vets, our cats are stressed. I know my cats, the second that door closes, they're screaming at me. They don't want to be in there. The same thing is we can use those pheromones in the car, create a calmer space getting there. How your veterinarian handles the visit from there makes a huge difference in how things go. And I have to say, like, the caveat right now is COVID, right? It's making everything so much harder. We can't be included. We aren't able to be in the room for the visits in so many cases. And it does make that connection a lot harder. And your teams are working really, really hard. And I have heard some really nightmare things going on out there in the clinics as far as just people being really, really mean to their vet staff. And they're working hard and trying to accommodate you guys as well. It's a tough thing with COVID. But in general, we want to make sure that we're getting our kitties into the exam room and out of those noisy, scary waiting rooms as much as possible. And a couple things that I see in clinics that I feel like should change, or at least are, associated with cat-friendly practices, is having areas put your carrier that it's not on the ground. So setting your cat down on the ground is sort of a threatening situation for them. They can't really see that well. So we want to have higher settings for them while you're in the waiting room. And again, as brief of time as possible in the waiting room. If you've got separate waiting rooms from dogs and cats, it's also a huge, huge help. So if you can find that. There are cat-friendly practices, certified cat-friendly practices. There are fear-free practices. There are a lot of really great progressive certifications and educations practices can offer that help to make this a really smooth visit. Feel away can be used in the exam room. Low stress handling can be used in the exam room. Bringing samples ahead of time and being prepared for the visit absolutely helps you know what to expect, to have everything that you need for the visit so you're not having to go back and forth. One of the biggest things we run into is no urine sample available, right? We know that. Haley is saying that not going in with them during COVID, it's just really hard. I have even had to hand my own pets over, and I am outside crying because I cannot stand the idea that I don't get to go in with them. It's been a nightmare. So how are your vets dealing with it and making it kind of better? Are they coming out and talking to you, phoning you? Are you doing Zoom calls? What are they doing to interact? And speaking of interaction, ask questions, write down questions when you have them throughout the year, or, the 6 months since you've seen your vet. There's a lot of times we think oh, I wonder why my cat did that. Well, the biggest lie we ever tell ourselves is I'll remember. We won't remember. So have a little notebook or a little, area in your phone that you can even just say hey, what about this? The last thing I kind of want to talk about in the last few minutes that we have here, and while you guys give me questions that you haven't yet sent my way, is kind of these areas of telemedicine, telehealth, these areas of spay-neuter clinics, these areas of vaccine clinics, these kind of gap-filling spaces. There's a lot of confusion around them. They're popping up more and more, and they can be really good, again, gap fillers, but they are not replacements for veterinary care. They're not replacements for a regular relationship with your veterinarian. One of the most important things about building a great relationship with your veterinary team and having a veterinary team is dedicated and you have a relationship with is the trust factor. We know that when our clients trust us and we have the opportunity to build a relationship and they find the clinic that really is their unicorn clinic, the compliance is always better. And so if you have a veterinarian that you feel comfortable with saying, that's not going to work for me, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to be compliant with that, we have to find a difference instead of just kind of oh, okay, yeah, and then knowing that's not going to fit into your life is really important. The statistics show that 60% of pet owners don't have a dedicated veterinarian, and I found that astounding, just absolutely astounding. So if you don't have a dedicated veterinary team, that's okay, but see if you can find somebody in your area, somebody in your region that you can build a relationship with. With cats, it's always a good idea to go if you're a little bit unsure. When we tell you to always go is going to be anytime you have kitties who are going in and out of the litter box with trouble straining or not passing urine. Anytime eyeballs are involved, we say this is an absolute emergency, you got to go. Absolutely any burns, cuts that won't stop bleeding within about 5 minutes or so. And again, anytime you are unsure. There is a really huge importance to knowing the emergency clinics that are near you. Huge importance to having availability, poison control and pet poison control numbers. And always have available the number to your regular veterinarian, because there's nothing worse than needing to get in touch and scrambling for it. Haley says they're doing as much as they can, follow-up phone calls. I mean, it's been a crazy time. What do you guys love about your veterinary clinics, at least before COVID? What do you wish was different? How many of you guys are experiencing veterinary clinics where they take your pet to the back? How many of them have open clinics where you're allowed in the back, or they do all the work in front of you? I'm always interested to hear what you guys think about making the visits better and for providing opportunities for us to learn from you guys. And what questions do you have about what happens in the back, or, not really being sure about some of the things that go on in the clinic? You guys always have the best questions for me. So you can make sure you put them down here in the chat. While we're waiting for that, I will tell you, if you aren't already, make sure you're following Basepaws on Instagram. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. We want you to tag us. I would love for you to tag us in your veterinary clinics Instagram or Facebook, so we can shout them out and we can tell them what a great job they're doing, taking great care of you guys and your pets. We know that we sometimes are all having a little bit of craziness right now in COVID, so it's hard to remember to slow down and say thank you, and this has been a really important time to do that. I know a lot of you guys out there maybe have new kittens. We're calling them COVID kittens because there's a lot of them out there. So make sure you're getting a great relationship with a veterinarian in your area. Start early, get them learning that the vet is not a bad place to go. And for you guys, make sure you are getting your annual work done. You're getting those visits in. We absolutely want to make sure that you are building that relationship. Lori says that she has a cat that's 8 years old, and she's itching and make her raw, I think is what it says, maybe. Poor little pumpkin. There's a whole lot of reasons. It's parasite season. I can't even believe how close. It's September already, you guys. And as the fall comes on, we see parasites and itching and fleas. We also see different seasonal allergies because this time of year tends to be a little bit cooler, a little bit more damp. Anytime you're seeing raw skin, get the veterinarian involved because we absolutely could see infections. So, Lori, make sure you're getting that veterinary trip in. So we're not allowed in the exam rooms. You're allowed in exam rooms, but not in the very back. And this is a great question in terms of going to the veterinarian, being at the veterinary clinic. So it's kind of been traditional not to go in the back. And there's a lot of different reasons. We say like liabilities, right? Because then you're in the back and there's other animals. There might be some things that are a little bit hard to see, right? So sometimes there's pets who are recovering from anesthesia, and that looks a little bit hard. I think there is also an insecurity factor, right? Like for us, it can be more stressful to put a needle in your pet's vein and to draw blood with you like over our shoulder. So I do think there is an element of like, we just know that we can relax a little when that's not the case. And a lot of pets do have that kind of more of their guard up, are a little bit more sensitive with the owner present. But we know just as many, if not more, are feeling more safe with their owner present. The thing, Haley, is as we learn better, we're doing better. So it's called the open clinic concept, and more clinics are embracing it. And it is the concept of bringing your pets into the back and letting you into the back, or doing the work in the room in front of you, including you in that moment because you sometimes feel a little bit better about that, and us getting over our insecurities and the traditions of not allowing it. So it's open hospital concept. You can always kind of mention to your veterinarian if they know anything about it or if they have any intentions to go to it. I'll tell you, my veterinarian now, shout out to Brunswick Veterinary Hospital and Dr. Zielinski, he's a man. Before him, they would take my dog from me, and I gotta tell you, I was like really not into it. I was like, but I'm a vet tech, but it's me, and they would still take my dog. So just makes me feel stressed out, and I wish that they could do it in the room with me. So open hospital concept, start asking and looking for it, see what they say. Yeah, Paula, your cats, your two cats go for wellness checkups twice a year. Look at your beautiful kitties. Look at your adorable cat ears. Oh, speaking of adorable cat ears, if you guys have not seen our Instagram filters, you are not living your best life. They're amazing and adorable, and please be taking them and tagging us in them because they are the best. But back to you, Paula. Twice a year, that's it. And then it's quick and easy and fast, and you know that they're doing good. Andrea, you have a cat who was adopted as a semi-feral, and you haven't taken her to the vet since you got her 3 years ago. You're trying to figure out how to get her there with the least amount of stress for her and you. Okay, yeah, so we kind of talked about this a little bit in the beginning, so don't worry about that too much. But what it's going to be about is pre-stress reduction. So it might be a matter of talking to a veterinarian about medications to reduce stress before you get there, calming treats, keeping the carrier in the house and creating it as a safe space, so treats or feeding inside the carrier, pheromone sprays in the carrier, in your car, in the vet space, getting into the veterinary room as quick as possible. I would also, for a semi-feral kitty, I've got one of those, and she's like that. She's a freezer, but the minute she can, she's going to dart. Getting her into a feline friendly or a fear-free or low-stress handling clinic. So it's really important. Andrea, thank you for adopting that semi-feral kitty. We're just about out of time, guys. Any other questions? I am so happy to take your cat to the vet day with you guys. You know, I love my industry. I love what I do. I love educating on veterinary medicine. I love helping you guys get the best cat lives and healthy, happy kitties we can get together. So Grace, yeah, we talked a little bit about house call veterinarians, and they do have great baseline medication equipment abilities. A lot of times they're not going to be able to do the dental care, the radiologies, the anesthesia-based care. And but what I do find about a home call veterinarian, I didn't say this before, so honestly, one really cool thing to think about is they get to see your cat in their environment. And when I get to do cat coaching and I get on a video with my clients, and so, you know, over at Basepaws, we get the chance to look. I'm like, hey, send me pictures of your litter box. Hey, let me see some video of this play happening. Hey, let me get in your space and see what's going on, because there are so many environmental factors. So when you get a house call veterinarian, they're going to be able to look at that space, look at the environment, and really help you get to the core of anything that's affecting your cat's health, stress, best life, right? Like kitty best life. We can also time our veterinary visits in a lot of cases when we have a home call veterinarian to like the calm time of the day, the sleepy time of the day, you know, so we can be like chilling in the window and like, oh, hi, the vet's here, no big deal. So we can help our kitties have their best visits, which I think is awesome. Paula, thanks for your blog post over there. I love me some bloggers. You guys always putting the good information out there. Make sure you're tagging us in it so we know what you're doing. Tag your vets, you guys. I don't know. You're just the best out there. You're the best cat owners in the world. I think that we honestly, we're so lucky. We're lucky to have our cats in this time. We're lucky to have each other in this time. And I look forward to every time I get to hop on here and spend some time with you guys, answer your questions. Make sure you follow up. If you have any questions, we can get back to you. You know, we'll post this whole video up on our website. There's a whole video section of our lives, so you can catch every minute. And I don't know, we'll be back in a couple weeks with more info. Make sure, again, you're tagging us on your Facebook and Instagram. Say hello to your veterinarians. Tell them thank you. Stay safe out there, guys, and we'll see you soon.